About 4 hours into my road trip to West Virginia, and yes, I will make it there in one day. I've done this multiple times. And what's nice is I have been to West Virginia through all 4 seasons. I've been in the summer, fall, winter, and now spring. So I have seen the area through all the seasons, and their winter is a lot milder compared to Vermont winters, which definitely is a plus. So unfortunately, my husband is not coming with me on this trip. He's staying behind with our kids and finishing up last minute things for the homestead. We've got a lot of landscaping we're getting done, and there's a lot of cleaning we still need to catch up on before we put our house on the open market. Some of the best advice I received actually from our realtor was, when you go to list your house, you gotta depersonalize it. So take down any family photos, any little knickknacks like that. And yes, I love chickens, so I had to take down all my chicken decor and try and neutralize it. And she said to make it look like an Airbnb. So when you walk into an Airbnb, what are your expectations? You expect it to be clean, kind of be neutral. So that is my mindset for how I'm going to attempt to stage my house. I am not an interior designer by any means, but I'm just trying to go with, hey, if I walked into an Airbnb, what are things I want to see? What are my expectations? And then go with that for staging our house. While I'm down here, I am going to look at a couple of pieces of raw land and also a couple of houses. With the raw land, it is close to where my friends live. The price seems reasonable. I want to get the raw land as cheaply as I can, because whenever you build, it always costs more than you think. And my husband built the house that we live in, and he spent, well, I won't say how much he spent, but he had to get additional loans to cover it because it cost more than anticipated. I am going to look at a couple of older farmhouses that do come with acreage. I think one has 110 acres, the other has, I think, 40-ish acres, and they both cost about the same. They are located in different towns, and I don't know if that's going to impact the price significantly or not. One town I'm very familiar with, the other town I've never been to. It's about 40 minutes away, still in the county I want to be in, so I figured, hey, I'm here, let's go look at it. So as you guys have enjoyed my previous property tours, I will take you guys along, and my friend is going to accompany me. She went with me for the last property, and it was a lot of fun because she lives in the area, and she can give me perspective of like, hey, oh, that house has flooding, or, you know, I am not local to this area. So having her insight is definitely very helpful, because that is in part why we're moving down here, is to be closer to our friends. And we just want a different opportunity. We've lived in Vermont our entire lives, so we figured, you know, why are we waiting until retirement to live our lives? So we're going to try and sell our homestead and move to West Virginia, and you guys are coming along for the property tours. Here's one of the properties that we went to look at. This is a 2-bedroom ranch style house, and I have to say, location was awesome. But we really, if we're looking at houses, I would like a 3-bedroom if possible, but we can live with 2. Like I said, I love the location, but the downside of this property is it only came with about 2 acres of land, which can be really challenging if you're a homesteader. There are neighbors nearby, but I'm trying to look at this land. I already have goats, I have chickens, and I want to get a mini cow and maybe get more goats. So 2 acres of land wasn't really doable, but I figured I'm going to go look at it because of location, and it is fairly quiet here. One thing that I absolutely will commend about this house, it was immaculate. This is like one of the cleanest houses I've ever been in. That, and it only had one bathroom, and to access the downstairs, basically to the garage area, there was no direct access. You have to exit the house and go into that, which makes it a bit of a challenge. But the bedrooms were not that bad. They were actually a pretty decent size. Now, for my personal preference, I am not a person that enjoys carpet, or my husband. I can live with it. For us with pets, it's just easier to have either hardwood floors or vinyl flooring. But to me, those are cosmetic things. Like, we can look past that if the location is good, if the property looks good. We would prefer, more land, and access to the downstairs would have been good. But I figured, I'm here, I might as well look at something. But overall, this house was not a fit for us, even though it was squeaky clean. This was another property that we looked at. It is an older farm, and this house, the location was a little iffy because it was right on the side of the road, but it had over 100 acres to it. So I'm like, okay, it has the acreage I love, priced in the price range we were looking at, and it has a lot of charm. And I want to point out, we had two realtors that we really liked working with. Both of them were very knowledgeable. Isn't that cute? And this house here had so much charm to it. Like, I think it was over 100 years old, and I love old barns. I was really excited to see that. The unfortunate part is, going over to this main property, you have to cross a bridge, and the bridge to the property itself definitely needs to be repaired. That was not disclosed or put in the listing, which I was a little disappointed about, but it definitely needs work. The house itself, like I said, it has a lot of charm. And I think there's 4 doors to enter this house, which I thought was actually kind of cool, because you've got like 4 different porches to enter into the property itself. And look at this tree. I thought it had a lot of character to it. It actually has a small, like, fenced area, so if you have dogs, you could have a little private area to let them out. Because like I said, this house is very close to the road, and that is something we keep in mind. Like, will our animals get harmed while looking at this? Oh, the realtor, she was trying to find the key. So we were going from door to door to door to try and find where the lockbox key was. But lo and behold, we found it on door number 4. Now, these are older style windows, so this house, even though it was like at the top of our price range, it does need a lot of work, and they were looking at potential cash buyers for this. And I don't know if we would have been in that type of situation where we could pay cash and do a lot of work and renovations. Yeah, it was lucky door number 4 where we finally were able to get into the property. It also had a cool outbuilding, which I really loved, but the acreage, not really usable, at least for us, for farming. It's very narrow and just went up into the woods, so I was really disappointed. But look at these stairs. Green is my favorite color. Like I said, I love older houses. They have a lot of charm. This bookcase was really cool. My old boss actually has the same exact bookcase, so it brought back some memories to my veterinary days. And this outbuilding, like I said, was really awesome, but it needed too much work for our personal budget. But it was a cool house. Now, this next property, yes, it is an abandoned trailer, but I'm looking at this for the perspective of land and building an off-grid home, tiny house type situation. So I can look past these buildings that are in poor condition. And if you're looking to live off grid or looking to build, sometimes you just have to look past these outbuildings and look at the land potential itself. It had natural gas on there, and it did have an active gas leak, which was pretty prevalent when we were there. I wish we had ATVs because this land had a flat area up on top. I couldn't access it. Like, our car could only go so far on on this property. So yes, it had an outbuilding that had, maybe this was like a root cellar at some point. I'm not sure. But this actually had some potential because there was a flat area. There's already natural gas. So when you're touring in West Virginia, keep that in mind. Yes, all of that can get cleaned up. Some people will look at this and be like, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. But to me, I'm looking at it for potential because right on top, as I scroll through here, you'll start to see where there was some flat land. So this had some potential to it. And yes, while I was here, I did visit my friend's homestead. I think you guys all know who I'm friends with, and I love his ducks. And you guys may recognize this dog as well because this is a well-known dog that he also owns. Gotta say hi to Az. And of course, Minion. He is one of my favorite dogs, so I was super excited to see Mint. He is one of my favorite dogs in the whole wide world. While we were there, we actually went to a local winery, and I loved this shop. It had so many yummy things in it, excellent wine, and just a relaxing atmosphere. And I just like to soak in all of the local art that they have. They had a nature trail that we walked, which was a lot of fun. And of course, I'm from Vermont, and I got a kick out of they had Vermont cheese. I mean, I had to check it out while I was there. Next to the winery is an amazing blacksmith. I had so much fun visiting this shop. You gotta check this out. So the blacksmith in town is Jeff Fetty. Go check him out if you're ever in that area. He does amazing work. It was a blast looking at houses here in West Virginia. I'm actually still in West Virginia. I'm getting ready to head home in a couple of days. But I will say the two realtors that I had showing me properties, they were phenomenal. And I said to them, I'm like, I have not had this experience with other realtors. It's hard to even get them on the phone. And they said, we hear that a lot, and don't get discouraged. There are good realtors here. And I was just blown away by their hospitality. So if you guys need a couple good realtors in the Roane County-ish area, let me know because I would love to give these guys more business. They were phenomenal. This is the last property. It's only a sneak peek. If there's chickens on the property, you already won my heart. I was, and actually am still a licensed vet tech, so hanging out with chickens and farm animals, that's right up my alley. This was a beautiful property. I had to take a photo of the cardinal. It's symbolic. If people know what cardinals mean, you know what that means. The land was absolutely beautiful, and there was actually a small creek in the back of this property, and I may or may not have put an offer in. I'm not going to disclose that. The realtor was a blast. We adored this realtor. And I also got to visit the Almost Heaven Swing. If you haven't done that, West Virginia has several of these. The more and more I visit the state, it feels more and more like home. I hope you guys enjoyed my property tours. Drop a comment if you wish and continue to follow this along.